Crafty Aunt T here. Today I want to just show you real quick a very easy 4th of July or Independence Day mini album that you can make. I want it to be so simple that even if you've never made anything like this, you can do it. And I want you to be sure that you use the things that you have. Don't try to go for the things, that I'm using here. I know the first time I ever wanted to make a card, by the time I had purchased, I didn't do it, but if I had purchased all the parts, it would have been $50 to make a greeting card. This is not what we want to do. I'm kind of frugal. So this is a kit that's on Digi-Doodads that you can just print out, and I'll put a link at the bottom. And then what I've done is I went ahead and cut the pieces out. I should have showed you the ephemera sheets. You'll get a lot of sheets. You'll have these two pockets. One is made to fit over the other. That's why I went ahead and gave you a template. So I've cut that out. I've cut out all of these pages. Now, some of them, if you see the dark line down the middle, those are made as a layout. That's intended as a layout. If you see two different sheets printed together, but there's no line, then I've just given you two different designs on a page. Some of these didn't really make the cut, but I wanted you to have that design and have some options. So I've cut all those out. Some of these were just, the whole sheet is a pattern, and I've cut that out. There were the journaling cards that look like this. And so what you'll do on those is hopefully you have a corner rounder, or you're really good with scissors, which I am not. So you just cut the straight lines and then take the corner rounder and snip the corners off. You could do that to your whole album. Like I said, this is a quickie, so I'm not doing that. Another thing is, I would really love to do this with a navy blue page. Normally I make the whole album base out of a color like black or navy or whatever, and then I use these decorative pages on top, but we're not doing that. This is supposed to be quick and easy. So there are those things. Oh, and there are all these designs. There's some pie and there's a sunshine, and because it's your file that you can print out, print as many of these things as you want to and use them for embellishments. I also have some flowers. It looks like this. I had this container of loose flowers, and I've gone ahead, actually this one was a paper one I had made, but I've gone ahead and just stuck some flowers together that I thought might work out in this. I have no idea if they will, but in case, just in case. And I had bought these ones at, I think, Michael's probably, and they might work somewhere. I've cut the frames out. Now, there are 3 frames in this kit, and what you'll want to do is, what you may want to do, is cut out the center and insert your picture behind. I usually just go ahead and adhere a picture on top, and then I take some sort of embellishment and put it over the picture, and it reads as if it was, inside the frame. So I usually don't do all that. And I wanted to show you this one. This comes as like this. This is an envelope. So I've given you your dark lines, which are your fold lines. So cut it out, fold it in on the lines, and then just glue those 2 tabs, and you'll have a nice envelope for your, your tickets or what have you for 4th of July. So let's get started. I went ahead and did a couple of things just to be kind of quick for you. This is what I intended as the cover, this double blue page, and so I went ahead and glued that down. I printed it all on high quality cardstock. It's Nina cardstock. I will give you a link, and I like Nina Solar White, which works perfectly with these designs with the white. However, I wanted my cover to be a little bit larger and a little bit sturdier than the other pages, so I took just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of craft colored cardstock, a pretty good weight cardstock, and I have glued down my cover onto that sheet. So now my cover will be a little bit larger than these other pages, which will hide any anywhere that they don't match or what have you. So the cover's done. I'm just going to lay that aside. Go ahead and cut your pieces out. Oh, another thing I did was I used, where is it? Black, it's called Black Soot Distress Oxide ink, and I only use this because I don't have a Black Soot Distress ink. You know, use what you have. But I took black and just went around the edges of some of these designs because I know I'm going to want them to pop out a little bit from the page. So that's done. I also have my tape glider as well as my tacky glue, and I have some scissors and a pencil, and I have a Crocodile, but if you have just a regular hole punch, that's going to work fine. And I did go buy some ribbon, but this red is too red for the paper. Now, your paper shouldn't come out quite as dark. It turned out we have new computers, new printer, new backup drives, and nothing's working together yet. Don't do that if you value your sanity. But anyway, my red, the ink was running out and I didn't know it, so my red came out dark. And it actually came out lighter when I finally was rescued by my husband coming home and he fixed it for me. But at any rate, this red is going to be too dark, so I'm not going to use those. But I did have a little bit of this laying around, and I have a cream colored, I'm laughing because I'm tossing the ribbon everywhere. I have this cream colored ribbon, and I have a few punches, like some round punches, and I have one tag punch that I've already used. So pretty much that's all I've got, and if you have that, then you're good to go. So let's get started. This is not a page. Remember, I told you it doesn't have the dark line, and I decided not to use all the pages because that was too many. So here are the ones I've decided to use, and I've already folded them. You want to fold them over and make a nice crease with your bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, use the back of something like your scissor, okay, and just run along that crease. Mine, new printer, it ran off the page. I had a big space on this end, and I didn't have, see, my page fell off. So in fact, here is that one. That's my favorite, my very favorite page messed up because of this. And like I said, I wanted this to be quick, so we're not going to worry about it. I don't even have it here. Okay, anyway. So fold your pages, figure out how many you might want to use, and then decide if you're going to do your signatures this way, just side by side, or if you're going to put them inside of one another. I'm going to put mine inside of each other. I think I'm going to do a frame here. So if you wanted to, you could darken these edges. In fact, let's go ahead and do that now with the black soot. I'll show you how that's done. The easiest way that I found to crop these pages is I start out with a big guillotine cutter, and I cut, you know, the biggest marks, and then you get to a point where you can't cut anymore, and I scoot down a level to the next size, and then this is the easiest cutter that I have for the smaller sizes, and then you've got to resort to scissors and cut the curvy parts. So there's your black soot edging on your frame. It's very easy. And now if you wanted to pop that up, you could using dimensional stickers. I think I may do that. Make sure your USA is upright. And I always try to set mine a little bit off from the edge because there's going to be some sort of binding there. So there's that. And yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and put a flower there. For the flower, I would use either the tacky glue or some glossy accents. I wouldn't, or you know, plain white glue. What I would not do is use the tape gun on that. Okay, and page 1 is done. See how quick that's going to be. Now, let's move on. What we have for the inside of that page was just the blank white. I did not, you can certainly print yours back to back. That's why I laid them out exactly the same place on each page for you. But I neglected to do that. Actually, I spent 2.5 hours trying to get the printer to work. So what I've done here is I just took some washi tape and laid it out. And within that area, I think I'll go ahead and assemble this envelope, because I'm probably going to want my envelope pretty close to the front. And then I'm going to adhere it by putting some of my tape on the back. And I'm going to put it kind of down low. And I don't normally put any kind of fastener on these envelopes. You certainly could put something there if you wanted to. I just don't. And I think up above that, I'm going to play around with these arrows. You've got those, and you've got the set of 3 all together. So I think I'm going to actually use all of those. And you certainly could fancy them up if you wanted to by maybe putting some, you know, you could put glitter or what have you on them. But the purpose today was to be quick. If you're like me, 4th of July runs up on you and then all of a sudden you need to have something ready, and you don't. If you're doing a big family thing, you'll want to be prepared to put your album together, or you may even want to have it ready to give away to someone. Now that tape runner glue got around the edge there. You can pull it off or you can push it under. That's the nice thing about that. And in fact, you can lift things and reposition them if you need to. All right, so page 2 is done. See how quick this is going to come together? And don't worry about the binding. I always do my pages before I do the binding, so we'll get there. Now, here's my next page. And I went ahead and got these things ready. This is a frame. Now, if I have a pocket or an envelope here, I like to have frames over here. So this is one of your frames from the kit, and this is the cherries. And you'll notice when I cut out the cherries, I didn't try to stay right on the line. I did give you black lines to cut on, but I cut around them and it looks fine. So I've adhered that onto the frame, and then the frame's going to go here. And then, in case you want to write down Aunt Maud, age 105 or whatever, I took a punch and I punched out this tag that's on top from one of your extra pages that has the lines. And then I took my hole punch and I did the hole there. Then I just laid that down and drew around it onto the red, the paper that looks like this. And I made it a little bit bigger. I just eyeballed it and made it a little bigger and cut it out, and then I've put a piece of twine through it. Now that can serve as your label so that you'll always know who that was in that picture. You know how we do. If you're old enough, somebody's already said, who was that? Do you remember who was sitting beside you at that picnic when you were 6? And of course you don't remember. So it's really important to mark our photographs. Now, if you're just using this as a journal, you can arrange your pages differently. You've got several that have the lines for writing and several that are just plain, like for example, this one is plain without lines, but it'd be fine for writing. So you've got, and here's one with lines. So you've got a bunch of choices. Try to always give you choices. And this is gonna try to go, now there's plenty of mistakes here. That's hopefully centered. If it's not perfect, I'm not gonna worry about it. And that needs a little bit of something else, but we're gonna come back to it. For now, that's page 3. Okay. And I wanted to hop over and show you, I went ahead and did one page before I began. And I'll tell you how I did this. Isn't that lovely? And it was really simple. I took the triangle template, and the blue one was cut out from pocket 1. And then you'll see that there are fold lines. So I took it, and I didn't even use this. I just sort of eyeballed it, and I folded it under. In fact, let me go ahead and make one, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, here we have a crease. That cutting board that I was using actually has a second blade that's just a scoring blade. So you could score it on there, or use your scoring board, but I just fold it over. Now, these two parts, you don't want all this sticking out, right? So we've got to snip that off. So just grab your scissors and cut off those two top edges. Now, down in your corner, open that up, cut it. Don't cut it all the way to the crease. Cut it up above like that. So when you fold it over, you've removed enough so that it's not going to be bulky right there. But if you cut into your crease, then you're going to have a little hole. Now, put some glue or tape or what have you there and adhere it down onto your paper. So that's pocket 1. You do the same thing with pocket 2. It's a little bit smaller. And just, you know, if you don't like the sizes that they are, then, you know, eyeball it. I like to have a little bit of pocket 1 showing all around pocket 2. Go ahead and fold these two edges, line it up, and put it down. Then I took, this is the Starburst in the gold. I took that and I just cut it all around. And what I meant to do was use a 2-inch circle punch. I made this so that it would exactly fit a 2-inch circle punch, and I forgot what I was doing. I took some ribbon and twine, and they're just folded. They're not even, it's not a bow. It's just a mess. So put your little wad of threads there. I put down a couple of flowers I thought would go okay, and a center, and I glued those down with glossy accents to be sure this held. Okay. Then this is one of your journal cards. I like that one. I glued it there. I took one of them and made a backing so that you could see it. And what you could do, I eyeballed it, but you could measure a quarter inch on each side. These are 3 by 4 inches. So it would be 3.5 by 4.5. And then use your corner rounder to make it match and glue it down. And you have a sturdier photo mat. And then what you can do, glue your photo on the back side and use this side for your writing. Okay, so there's that one. And these are that's just another one. And this one, I like to cut different shapes and put them into these pockets. So I just cut this one to show you. I measured it. Actually, I measured it as tall as the pocket, but somehow I've cut it down, rounded the corners so it would go with everything else. And we'll come back to that one. You could punch a hole here and put a bow in it and do lots of cute little things. So there's that page already done. I'm not sure why I did that. The back side of the one that has the frame. So what I thought I would do here is show you how to make a little bit different of a pocket. So I'm going to use this paper. This is the stripes, and I kind of made it to go this way, but I'm going to turn it this way. And what I want to end up with is a pocket that has this nice border. Okay, 5.5 wide and 6.5 tall. How to do it on this. This is by the Paper Studio. It's one of the cheapest ones you'll ever see, and if you've seen my videos before, you know that I love it. By the way, has anyone noticed that my videos keep coming down? I make 3 and put them up, and 5 come down. It's like I hardly made any videos, and yet there should be several, so I don't know what that's about. I am making, that was a 1/2 inch. I didn't cut enough for a 1/2 inch, so let's do a 1/4 inch on the sides. And now, if you don't, you might want to allow for more. If you want it to hold a lot, you're going to have to maybe even do a 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, there we go. Now that's the cut. Let me get this out of the way. So now take your bone folder and fold it over on that crease that you just made. Got your excess. And there's your pocket. Now, if you want it to stay, like really stay, instead of using your glue gun, go ahead and use your wet glue. Wet glue is always going to stay a little bit better than a tape, except for the double-sided Twine tape. Now that stuff stays down pretty good. And you don't have to keep all your pages together. I just tend to do that because otherwise I'm constantly losing things. Boy, couldn't have been any wider, could it? I should have gone ahead and folded that more. But remember, we're going to make mistakes because this one is it's just simple and quick. Now, you really want to lay something on top of this and let it dry. But that's not what I'm going to do. I think I'll put that one there. And this is already glued together and dried. Haven't got a center in it yet. Sometimes I go back at the end and I put, I use hot glue for flower centers because then they really stay. Let's go ahead and put that heart there too. That heart looked good. Now I did outline the heart with some black. If you wanted to, if you felt like it still wasn't showing up enough, take a Sharpie and go around there with an even darker line. Okay. So we want that to dry real